Hey everybody, welcome to subscriber Q&A. I just got home from meeting my sister at the Atrium in Rocky Hill. It's a memory care place that we did a delivery of Carol's Garden prayer shawls. It was such a fun event. I always love to see like the faces of everybody when they get to pick out the shawl that their eyes, or that that caught their eyes. And it was really fun. I think we gave away 38 shawls. It was our biggest event yet, so super excited about that. Today during subscriber Q&A, we're going to be talking about the raglan sleeve top pattern. And I have a raglan sleeve over here. This is one of my favorite raglan sleeve tops of all times. I love this raglan sleeve. But you notice I'm not wearing it because I am so warm. It's like a million degrees in my studio, so I'm going to talk really close to my microphone so you can hear me. And I'm going to refer to my raglan sleeve, but I'm not going to put it on because long sleeves are way too warm for me right now. So basically that's what's happening. And I'm going to get started by talking about the raglan sleeve. And since I have it here on my dress form, I can easily show you why it's a little bit different than a set-in sleeve. So let's take a look. I'm going to bring it really close. Okay, so we're going to be front and center with this. So what I want to show you here is, if you notice, if I turn it to the side, oh, let me do this side because it's got the actual, I'm using this dress form today because I've got my arm here, my movable arm, which I think is kind of cool. This is my French European dress form that I won last year at the National ASG conference from French European dress forms. It was one of the most exciting things to happen. I've never won anything quite like this before, so it was a super fun to sit in the lucky chair at the last day at lunch. But it is kind of cool because I can show you with the arm how things are working here. And basically you can see that there's no shoulder seam. Now some raglan sleeves have a seam or a dart up here at the top of the shoulder, and but some don't. So this one does not have any seam or dart up at the top where a shoulder seam would be. And you'll notice that the armhole is more of a straight line. I mean, it's got some curve to it, but it's got it's straighter than usual. And then if I rotate this all the way up, I think you can see here, there's the base of the armhole, so it is curved there. So that's what the raglan sleeve top looks like. And the things I'm going to cover today are how to keep the top from pulling to the back, how to do a full bust adjustment, and then how to adjust the base of the armhole to help with wrinkling and ill fit under the base of the armhole. Let me just stop and say hi. I'm going to guess your name is Erin. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right, but welcome. Nice to see you too. And you want to submit an armhole fit related question? You can absolutely ask questions during subscriber Q&A. Last week we did a bunch of different things with the bust, and I ended up showing a small bust adjustment because somebody joked that they were waiting for the small bust version of the large bust adjustment that I was showing. So feel free to ask your questions. I've printed out my raglan sleeve pieces, but I can also talk about a regular sleeve. If it's something that I can stick in here today, I will. And if I can't, if it's too involved, I will just do it next week. I'll add it for next week. So that's how we're going to do this. I am going to change my view. Oh, here are my mom's cute new shoes that I got. I have to, so just fun story here. These are shoes from my mom, and she has a really bad callus on the top of one of her toes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this away, and I'm going to put this trim back on it to make room for that little bump so it doesn't hurt. So that's my project for later. Not for now. Hey Isla, hi Lean. You hope to learn something new today. Raglan sleeves are relatively new to me. Oh, well, I hope you do too. I will tell you that raglan sleeve is my favorite top. I kind of wish I had one to wear every day. And I do have some summer versions of the raglan sleeve top. And let me just show you on my Instagram. Let me see if I can show you really quickly here. If I can find, if I scroll back to last summer, I made a raglan sleeve top that basically is almost like a raglan sleeve tank top. So this is another fun option for the summer. And of course, could I find it to put it on right now? Nope. It's still packed with my summer stuff I have to get out. Let me just see here. It'll only take me a second to find it, but it's really cool because it's got a really, really short sleeve. Oh, here is a sweater version that I did. So this is even warmer than the one on my dress form. That was a kind of cool one. But really what I want to show you is, let me find the summer one. It's got to be coming up. I did it last summer. Hold on one second. And of course, I probably should have had that queued up too. But I'll show you on the, I'll show you on the, hold on one second. Oh, let me just stop and say Victoria. Hello, haven't done raglan sleeves yet, so this will be a good reference. Excellent. Hey, Francis. And RT Blade 4, welcome from Nashville. All right, let me see if I can just find this. It's got to be coming up. Hold on. Oh, here we are. Oh, look, I'm even wearing it. So see this right here? This I thought was kind of cool because see how it's almost like just the very top of the sleeve. I made it like a tank top. That's kind of a cool summer look. So I'll show you how to do that too. But let's start with the subscriber questions because that's what this episode is all about. So the first thing I want to tell you is if you're working with, or if you have a large bust and you always seem to need more room in your bust, I will tell you that my raglan sleeve pattern is designed off of my T from my T twin set, and these patterns have bust room. I did not need to do a full bust adjustment, and I have a G cup. So one easy way to have room in a raglan sleeve is to buy my pattern. But if you already have a pattern that you like and you want to fit to you, let me start with doing the full bust adjustment here. And what I'm going to do is tip my fan up a little bit higher so I'm not blowing my papers all over the place. And what I want to show you here is I'm going to cut out my sleeve. I'm going to cut the front of the sleeve out like this. And then I'm going to cut the, well, I'm going to cut the whole sleeve out actually because I can already see what my problem here is. My sleeve is backwards to go into my armhole. So let me just cut this off here like this. And then let me show you. So the way this works is I'm going to put my notch here. I'm going to just transfer it to this side. So here is the front and the sleeve, and somewhere along the let me just get my ruler. Somewhere along the center of the top of the sleeve is going to be where the actual shoulder seam would be, somewhere in here. I don't know if that's exactly where it is, but let me just make it a little darker here. So something like that would be technically where the shoulder is. So if we want to do a full bust adjustment, what we're going to do is we're going to line up. The first step is we are going to line up the edge of the sleeve, and I'm just going to dash in the edge of the sleeve so you can see it because it's white on white. There's the front armhole. Okay, this is obviously the armhole. This is the, you know, the cap essentially. I'm just going to line it up so that the neckline is all aligned here. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing is I'm trying to create a situation where I can see my shoulder, and then I can also measure down to where my fullest bust is. So the first thing we're going to do is line this up. Now I have to minus 3/4 of an inch because I have 2 3/8 inch seam allowances on the edge of these patterns if I was working with my real pattern. So just remember to get rid of those allowances when you're measuring length. And then you're essentially going to measure straight down. Let me just use a different color. Use orange. We're going to go straight down from the shoulder like this to where our full bust is. Okay, so the first step is you want to measure on yourself from your shoulder to your apex, and then maybe give yourself an extra 1/2 inch. Then you're going to find out from your shoulder down to where your apex is. Let's say your apex is there plus a 1/2 inch. Okay, so the first, what this is going to do for us is it's going to give us a place to do the full bust adjustment. Okay, because you can see it's, what's happening is we needed to connect the sleeve to get to the shoulder, right? You don't have to do that normally on a set-in sleeve because it's got a shoulder. So we don't need the sleeve anymore for that. But what I'm going to do now is I am going to draw a line across here, and I'm going to draw a line, you know, to the apex and the from the notch to the actual apex. Now I know these lines don't match. This is a teeny little scale and it's kind of skinny. So wherever this line is on your full-size pattern, you know, wherever this line is, just use that on a full-size pattern. I'm moving it over just a tiny bit here because it's a little bit snug this way, just to give myself a little bit more room. But basically, you can see here what we're going to do is I'm also going to cut, I think the easiest thing to do is I'm going to extend this a line straight down here as well. That'll just make it easy for me to put this back together. So basically what I'm going to do here is, to do a full bust adjustment, I am going to cut this off. Okay, and I'll deal with the lower side in a second. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut through to the armhole so we can pivot this out like this. And I'm going to take a little piece of my pink here, and I'm just going to stick it like this. Oops, maybe let me just put it down like this. Oops, hold on. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to pivot this out so that it's spreading the amount you need to add for your full bust adjustment. So on a knit garment, it can be hard to tell how much. So if you're already wearing one, you can kind of get an idea of how much the fabric is pulling and how much you need to add. So let's just say we needed to add a 1/2 inch there. So I'm going to tape that into place. Okay, so that's going to take care of the width there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my lower piece in half along that vertical line, and I'm going to line up the center front back, and I'm also going to add vertical length. So let me just draw myself a 1/2 inch. We'll say I'm going to pretend it's a 1/2 inch because it's, you know, it's a tiny pattern, but basically I'll draw myself a line there as a guide. Okay, and then I'm just going to stick that back on like this, and we want to make sure that our center front stays completely straight like this. So I'm lining up my center front like this so it's straight, and I'm putting that back together. So you can see now I've added vertical length and I've also added width there. So we're going to put this back together as well. But notice when I put this back together, I don't want to add anything to my side seam. So I'm literally going to put the side seam back together here, and it's going to create this wedge shape opening. Now, if you happen to need more room in the torso and hem and full hip, you can leave it like that because now you've created room down here too. But if you don't need that, then what you're going to do, let me just show you. Oops, hold on. I'm going to need a little extra here. Hold on. Okay, so if you don't need all of this extra room that I'm creating, okay, what you're going to do is you can true this up here, measure what's spread right here. So if, let's say I spread 1 inch, you're going to mark 1 inch here, and you're essentially going to just start about here, and you're going to put the shape back like that. Okay, and I think from this shape now you can see, you know, especially if you've got a slender hips and you've got a you know, you don't have a prominent tummy, I think you can see if I cut this off here. Okay, I'm just getting rid of that. If I cut this off, okay, you can see that it kind of looks like you would expect it to fit. We've made room here, and then it tapers back to the original. And then if I were to take this little wedge, I'm just going to cut out the part that I trimmed off. I'm just going to put it here. You can see that that's very close to what I added. So this just makes it real simple by cutting straight down and matching it back up at the side seam. We don't want to change the side seam because we don't want to have to change the back side seam. So this works out perfectly. So now we have added room for the bust. We've added some length because remember, part of a full bust is you have to go over your bust to get to the hem. And a lot of times if you have a large bust, the hem can pick up at center front. So this is how I would do a full bust adjustment on a raglan sleeve. Quick and easy. Let me know if anybody has questions about that. The next thing I want to show you here is I'm going to cut out my back. So let's look at what's happening here. Okay, so if I put my front and back together, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line up the top of my, or the base of my armhole, and let me put a piece of, let me just get rid of this. I'm going to put a piece of paper here so you can see. All right, so this is from here to here, this area right in here, this is the base of your armhole. Okay, and if you put them together, it makes it easier to see where that is on the pattern. Now, I did a video in May when I was doing my shirt fitting series. I did a video about adding mobility to your sleeve by filling in or raising the base of the armhole. So if you have a situation where you feel like you drag your arm up and the fabric is dragging with it and you don't have any room to do this, you can fill this in. And the way you would fill it in is you would extend your side seam, and then you would just fill it in like this, the amount that you need. Okay, now doing this and filling it in, so if I color it, let's say, and then let me tape it to it, then I'm just going to cut it out. I'll cut it apart so you can see the two separate pieces. Okay, so you can see what we did here was we raised the base of the armhole. Now, we've also shortened the armhole slightly. On a full-size pattern, it could be a significant amount, like a 1/4 inch on each side, because if I were to measure from here to here and then also measure, you know, along the new top edge, the new top edge is going to be slightly shorter. So what we can do here is, I think the easiest thing to do to make this match then would be just to trim that little bit off here and here, just that little bit. It'll be like a 1/4 inch. So if you just trim your underarm seam ever so slightly, you'll get rid of the amount that you the amount that you shortened the armhole. And the way you can tell is you can walk the sleeve. So like if I put this back together, and you can see I'm walking it, you can see it matches perfectly, and all I did was trim off that little sliver. Hi, Isa B from Luxembourg. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're doing raglan sleeve today. So you can see walking the sleeve is really easy. So you can always check and see what you have there. Okay. And then if I go over to this side, I can check my back as well, lining those up. And you can see that matches. So that's how you can you know, add some mobility and sort of bring your armhole up. Sometimes you have wrinkles coming from your underarm because the base of your armhole might be jammed up too high. Then you would do the reverse here. You would literally lower the armhole. I'm just going to go ahead and lower it a little bit. Something like that. You know, an equal amount. And then you would cut that off. So if I lengthen the base of my armhole by going deeper, okay, so see now you can see we've cut off that, oops, and this. Now we've made this longer, so we're going to have to adjust the sleeve. Now to make it longer, I would not add to my underarm seam. I would cut across here, like right above the notches, add some paper, and add the amount that you need to make the armhole match the sleeve cap, like this. So whatever the amount was that you lengthened your front and back armhole by going deeper, you can lengthen it here. And then, and you can see here, if I put this, I don't need that anymore. So if I put this like this, oops, I can actually see what I need to get it to fit. So literally, if I line it up like this, push the sleeve down, and then pick the thing out of the way, you can see I need to add a significant amount because I cut off quite a bit. So let me just get this to agree. So if I line up that at the top, like that, it's going to be about that much there. So I'm just going to put a pin in it. And then I could actually do the same thing for the front. Let me just cut this out. I can lay this right here. And I can work on my front. So the front needs a pivot here. So let me just gonna pivot it around like this. I'm gonna tap that down. Oh, that can't be right. Oh, you want to know what I did? I did this is the front. Sorry. So this is the front. I'm like, that can't be right. So this is going to be down here. That makes more sense. Yeah, see, that makes more sense. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. I was trying to make the front side of the sleeve match the back armhole. That's what I was trying to do. But you can see here, if I put the pin here now, and then I check the back one, which is right here, and I rotate it around, yeah, it's going to be kind of like that. Okay, so now I can use that kind of as a fun guide to, you know, instead of measuring, I could use that as a fun guide to figure out how much I need to spread my sleeve. So you can literally, you know, after you've got it, you know, taped together, you can go back and make sure it matches. You can see it matches there. And then over here, on this side, I might have to, you know, fix this a little bit and make sure it's good this way. And then here is my back armhole. You can see how those match up now. Okay, so that's how you can lengthen your armhole to drop it if it's too far up into your armpit. And then I also showed how to lower it if you're, you know, if it's too high, you can lower it, and if it's too low, you can bring it back up. Those are common things that can cause wrinkles under your arms on a raglan sleeve top. The next thing I want to show you is if your shirt is pulling to the back. Let me just cut this out here. Let me use a fresh one so I don't have all of this gunk here. Okay, so I've got my front and my back. I'm going to just cut it. Please let me know if you have any questions. I think I've rendered you all speechless with my raglan sleeve adjusting here. Okay, so here is my front and here is my back. I'm just cutting off the parts that I might need to have right next to what if I might have to butt something up here. Okay, so there's my front and back. here's my sleeve. Okay. All right. Okay, so now let's look at this. I'm going to turn this back armhole, right? Front. Okay, so you can see here one of the unique things about a raglan sleeve is a portion of the neckline is made from the sleeve. So if you're working with a raglan sleeve and you're constantly pulling it back forward, generally what that means is, if I were to sort of dash in our approximate shoulder seam here, okay, so this is about where the sleeve is sitting, you know, on your shoulder, right? If it's pulling to the back, that usually means you have too much length through here and not enough length from the shoulder through here. And what happens is this is too short and this is too long, so it's pulling to the back. Now you can also have the opposite situation where it feels like it's pulling or sitting at the base of your neck, like your neck is stopping it from coming forward. That could be that you don't have enough length here. I mean, I'm sorry, that can mean you have too much length here and it's too short in the front. So you can do this adjustment for either direction of it being either too long in the front and it's too short in the back and it's pulling down, or you could have it be too short in the front, too long in the back, and it's pulling to the front. But the idea is the sleeve is sitting on your shoulder, right? So it's sitting on your shoulder like this, and you need to have enough length on both sides to agree with your body. So if it's pulling to the back, what you're going to do is you're going to shorten what's going on here and you're going to lengthen what's going on here. So basically what I would do is I would shorten the front in these two places and I would lengthen in the back in these two places. So basically I would just take a little bit off the neckline, blend back in to the original edge, and then over here I would do the same thing. I would take some off and blend. So you're shortening it by trimming this little bit off to get rid of the extra length in the front. And I know this is a tiny little sliver, but I think you can see. Let me zoom in here so we can really see what I'm doing. I'm gonna make it a little brighter, sorry. Just want to make sure everything is crystal clear here because it's so small. But basically, you can see I shortened, you know, up through here. So if I switch to here, I'm shortening this right here. Okay, so you can actually pinch out on your garment what it is that you need to get rid of there. That will help you see. And then in the back, we need to lengthen here so you have enough room for it to come up and over to the shoulder. Okay, so in the back, let me just switch my view here. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna take, this is just, we just need a little bit, literally just a tiny little bit here. I'm gonna put a little bit of paper here. Oops. And I'm gonna put a little paper here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to add a little length here. So, this could be a 1/4 inch on your real size. But the goal is you just want to be very subtle back to the original. Okay, let me cut this off. Okay, so we're adding there. And then we're going to do the same thing to here. We're going to add a little bit and then just draw that back like this. And then if I cut this off, you can see we're adding the length we need where we need it. Now notice I'm not adjusting the base of the armhole. I'm just adjusting up at the neckline where it's pooling. Okay, so I hope this helps you fit your raglan around your neck, keeping in mind if I connect these things like this, you can see what I did. Okay, we've got, this is center back, center front, right? And then we've got shorter here because we took it off of both, and we've got longer here because we've added it there. And that will let it come up to the front and sit nicely. And then also you won't have extra here hanging out. Jackie says, I came in late, sorry. I would like to have my pattern a short sleeve. I have a big tummy and a shirt has a curve for the waist. How would I make those adjustments? Sorry if you've already covered. I'll get to you in a minute. Let me just answer this first question. All right, and it's a really good question. All right, so to do a short sleeve on your raglan, you can decide how short you want it to be. So if you want the full armhole, like you don't want a tank top version, and Jackie, if you go back and watch the beginning, I show a tank top version of the raglan on me. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to decide how far down you want to go. Let's say you want a 2-inch underarm seam here and here. Just kind of coloring it in so you can see. So measure the same distance from the base of the armhole down the underarm seam, there and there. And then you have 2 choices. You can draw straight across and cut it off, and this would be a short raglan sleeve. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. Okay, now another thing you can do is, I am not a fan of just a short sleeve. I like a cap sleeve that actually comes up a little bit on my arm and it's got a little bit of a curve here. If you'd rather have a cap sleeve, what you're going to do is you're going to decide how high you want the center of the hem to be. So let's say I'm going to put it there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this nicely down to here, like that. And I think at this point I would just fold it in half and cut this off. Okay, and so now you've got a cap sleeve, but what's longer, a curved line or a straight line? A curved line. So we don't want to have it be too long because now we've made the hem longer by curving it. So what we're going to do is we're literally going to come in about, I would say, 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch on each side, like that, to shorten the hem edge. So that's how you make a short sleeve or a cap sleeve. Okay, so there's your cap sleeve. And then if you have a tummy, and I have a tummy too, and my raglan sleeve pattern as is looks like this. So you can see here, see how, let me just cut this off here. Okay. Oh, actually, let me do it like this. See how we've got these really curved side seams to create a fitted raglan sleeve? Well, that's not in my that's not my shape right now. So what I do is, you know, where the waist is, that's like the smallest part. So like right here. Okay, so let's say this is my waist. Okay. You can decide, all right, at the waist, I need to add an inch on each side. I'm going to go ahead and mark that inch. And then what I can do is I can connect it from here, you know, to here. And then I can just bring it back down to here. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm straightening out my side seams to agree with my straighter shape. So my personal raglan sleeve pattern has this adjustment because I don't have a defined waist. I have a pot belly. So my waist measurement and my full hip measurement are almost the same. So you could even go so far as to take a ruler and touch the armhole and the hem edge and just, oops, do that. So you can do that and it'll make a nice swingy raglan sleeve. Now, if you want to have some shape to your side seams and you don't want to do this and make it boxy like this, because it will make it more boxy, right? You can also, instead of doing this, you can just draw yourself a straight line right there and you can slash it and spread it. And this works really well if you also need room at your full hip. So if you need room at your full hip and your waist, this can work as well to do that. And then you could keep the shaping or some of the shaping if you want the shaping. So that's how you would kind of deal with making room, you know, by doing something like that. So that's how you make a short sleeve and make room for a tummy either way. All right, and Isla's asking me about Wardrobe by Me's Women's Tropicana has a two-piece sleeve. I think I would have to see the sleeve, but if it's a situation where it's a two-piece sleeve and you want to add, I would add to each edge and sort of split the difference. Or if you want to send me pictures of the pattern pieces in my email, I can look at them, Isla, and I can give you a better thing about that if I see it first. I haven't done any two-piece sleeves. I mean, I know how to draft them and I know what they look like, but I need to know what the actual fitting thing is and then also what the sleeve looks like. All right, Jackie wants to know if I have a video on making a dress for your on making my dress form my shape. Okay, so I don't have any videos on adjusting dress forms because I own, this is my French European, which I love. Let me just switch this one out. I also own a ditto form. And if I take all this stuff off of my ditto form, this is so embarrassing. I haven't sewn my collar stand facing on yet. I'm dying to wear this. I have to hurry up and sew this. As you can see, it's all pinned and ready to go. So I have to finish sewing this. But if we look at this, this is me in all my glory. I've got my tummy, I've got my bust, I've got my deep curve in my back. This is a ditto form. So if you're really into garment sewing and you would like to make an investment in your sewing, I can't recommend this more because this is high density foam and it pins like a dream. It's amazing. And then you can make things that fit you so much easier because it's literally a copy of you. Now, if you don't want a whole body double dress form like this, one recommendation is you can pad up the tummy with cotton batting. You can put a bra on your dress form and stuff it with, I would probably just keep layering cotton batting to make a nice smooth shape and then make a new cover for it. And I do have a video showing how to make a non-stretch cover for my ditto form. So if you decide to pad up your original, a standard dress form, pad it up, because you can definitely do that too. Then you can watch the video on how to do, just look on my channel for how to drape a non-stretch cover on my ditto form, and you can make a cover after you pad up your dress form. Or get one of these. I love this. This is like amazing for me. Now, the downside for me is many times when I'm working on garments, I'm creating things I'm going to develop to sell in my fashion pattern line. I can't use my ditto form when I'm working on that because I'm so far off of a normal, not normal, but I mean, I want to use industry standard measurements to start, and then I will show how to adjust it for fit. So this is too skewed to my shape, but I do use it to check things on my own, like my own shape. So this is a wonderful thing to have, and I will put a link to ditto form in the description below this video after I get off. Jackie and I apparently twins. I love that. This is the best shape to be, I think. This is like the happy, healthy, but also eat whatever I want shape. That's what this is. All right. Kay Quilter says, what would a high round back also be adjusted like doing on a t-shirt? Okay, so I did 2 videos on how to do a high round. Oh, high round. Wait a minute. High round back adjustment on my YouTube already. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to how to do it without a center back seam. I'll put a link to that video in the description below because I'm running out of time. Remember, Wednesdays are my granddaughter day at 2 o'clock, so I'm going to have to go in a little bit. So honestly, I can't remember off the top of my head how to do it, but it involves slashing down the center, spreading things up, and then reestablishing the shoulders at the tip of the shoulder, but leaving the higher center back neckline. So I do already have a video showing how to do that, and I will put a link to high round back without a center back seam in the description below when I get off. So, and I think you'll be able to follow that. If you have any questions about doing that when you watch the video, please let me know and I will help you. So, yay, this has been like super fun. All right, so please let me know if anybody has questions about any of these raglan sleeve top adjustments I did. If you're watching the replay, please post your questions. I'll help you. I just want to let everybody know I have good news, bad news. Good news, I'm going to be doing something super exciting with Threads Magazine. And the bad news is I have to drive down to their offices on Friday, and I'm lucky that I live a little more than an hour away, but that also means I won't be home in time to do FabFit Friday. Now, if you've been following along with me, you know that FabFit Friday is I mean, I'm sorry, I was trying to read. I was trying to read. All right, let me just put, okay, so my website is jsterndesigns.com. There's also a link in the description below this video to sign up for my newsletter. If you sign up for the newsletter, you get the free mini pattern pieces in your inbox as a thank you for signing up for my newsletter. But all right, so what was I saying? Oh yes, so Friday for FabFit Friday, I was looking forward to that like I cannot tell you. I ordered several linen fabrics from Fabric Mart, and I think they're going to be here in time because I paid for expedited shipping, and it got started to ship yesterday. But I'll have to reschedule. I'll have to reschedule that for next Friday. But here's the good news again. So it was good news. I have something exciting to do with Threads Magazine. Bad news, I have to postpone FabFit Friday. But good news, I'll have more fun things to share with you because I will have time to test some of the fabrics. I'm going to want to wash samples of each fabric, and I will show you what the difference is between the linen before it was washed, after it was washed. And then I'm going to show you the design I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be working on a V-neck top that I'm going to develop into a dress. And this is going to replace a beloved dress that I had in my closet probably 15 or 20 years ago that I can't find it, first of all, and second of all, I couldn't possibly fit into it anymore. So I'm really excited to have this bias cut linen dress back in my wardrobe. So I'm super motivated. Lean says, thanks, Jen. Seems so simple, you doing it. Well, I mean, I like to nerd around with patterns. Like, I could spend all day playing around with pattern pieces and figuring out how to do fitting. So, you know, I have a lot of practice, but if you just take your time and do it step by step, it really isn't hard. And that just brings me to my Fit Tip Tuesday schedule going forward for almost the rest of the summer. I'm going to be doing body specific pattern adjustments that make sense to do before you cut out your fit muslin, because there's certain parts of your body that you can physically see in the mirror that may need to be adjusted. And what I'm finding through all of my teaching fitting, both privately in Zoom classes, and also in in-person classes with a wide variety of different body shapes and also patterns, is the more things you can do to the pattern to get it to agree with you before you cut out your muslin, the less work it is to get that muslin to then fit you. However, it's kind of tricky to make those adjustments, because remember, everything you adjust can affect something else. So in this series, I'm going to be very careful to say, if you adjust your pants pattern for a tilted waist because you have a much shorter rise in the front and a much longer rise in the back, or vice versa, that was my Fit Tip Tuesday for this week. I also am showing you what else is changed by doing that adjustment and how to put it back. That's part of the problem with pants fitting, or any kind of fitting really. You're trying to fit something for you, and then you realize that you also made other changes you didn't need. So that's going to be my series over the summer, and I'm going to focus on one adjustment per week that I think can help people. All of these adjustments are going to be things you can see in the mirror. So we're not trying to fine-tune fit here. We're just trying to get the pattern to be more agreeable with your shape, or more customized to your shape, so you can do that fine-tuned fitting when you get into your muslin. So that's where my pants fitting is going, and I hope you'll join me for Fit Tip Tuesdays. All right, let's see. So I have Jackie is going to sign up for the newsletter. Yay. Another good reason to sign up for the newsletter is I always post my class opportunities in there for the next month and what I'm doing going forward. And sometimes I will have a newsletter exclusive tutorial. Sometimes I'll even stick a recipe in there. You know, so the newsletters can be fun, and you won't have to worry about getting inundated by them, because if I get one done a month, you're going to be lucky. I'm so busy. Like, I think I probably average 10 a year, because I literally, you know, scrape to get them done. All right, and then RT Blades 4 says, I really enjoy you and always learn so much. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoy you come and spend some time with me. It's the best part of my day. Lois says, thanks so much. Judy says, as I work, I was able to listen. Love this. Thanks, Jen. You are so welcome, Judy. Thank you for listening along. Oh, RT Blade 4 is going to sign up for the newsletter too. Yay. All right, this is exciting. Super excited. I will have a newsletter that will cover August coming out soon. Maybe I'll have something fun in there. We'll see. But I will get another newsletter out. I did one at the beginning of June, so I will do a July newsletter in the next week or two. So it's going to be lots of fun. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I really, really appreciate it. I'm so sorry, no FabFit Friday this week. But like I said, I'm super excited, and I know that's kind of a tease to say I'm going to Threads to do something exciting. I will be able to share more information with you along the way, but for now, that's all I'm going to say, because it's something that's going to be in the future for the fall, so I have time to tease you a little bit. But anyway, so thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and please keep me posted if you have questions, because you might see them here on subscriber Q&A. All right, so thank you. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.